What's up, everybody? MILFS here, coming at you with a brand new Overwatch video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the Overwatch 2 developer blog, talking about designing heroes for a new era, the way in which they're balancing new characters, the way that they have already balanced old characters, and a lot about the future, so we can break it all down and know what is next for Overwatch 2. But Sweaty Sack Summer is approaching, and it's time for you to get that ball comfort. Manscaped has spent 2 years designing the most comfortable boxer briefs that just exist anywhere in the entire world. If you're gonna invest in anything, you gotta invest in those balls of steel of yours. Now, Manscaped sent us an all-new package that includes things like the deodorant and body wash, and even this really fucking good lip balm. I'm serious. You can get the Performance Package 4.0 that comes with waterproof shavers and trimmers. And here's the thing, I'm gonna be real with you guys for a second. It's super easy for you to just neglect your physical and mental health. As guys, it happens all too often. But really, if you're not physically feeling good, you're not gonna mentally feel good as well. And Manscaped has everything you need so that you're at the tip top of your game. What are you waiting for? Use code MILFS20 at the Manscaped checkout for 20% off your order and free shipping. Go check it out in the links right now down below. Now, they do say that they've been experimenting with a lot of heroes since the PvP beta wrapped up, and they are giving us a hint to one of the heroes they've been working on. Quote, "The true struggle is for the superiority of ideas." I don't know what that means. Like, I have no idea what that is actually referencing to, but if it's not a freaking support, I'm gonna lose my mind. Thank you, have a nice day. But the next thing that they talked about is they are cooking up some new ideas for MOIRA, with them considering how she will perform as they step into the future of the game. Basically, they say that she's an effective support, sometimes too effective in certain metas like GOATs. However, they believe she lacks the playmaking ability and utility possessed by other supports on the roster. To improve the feel of her gameplay, we're iterating on fresh changes that will give her kit more depth, and they're gonna break down their hero balance and design iteration process. So we're gonna jump right in. So first off, with MOIRA's kit, they have two goals. They wanna give her more utility and the power to make game-changing plays. The design process is multifaceted and sometimes spontaneous. New ideas are shared with the entire balance and design team, and they collaborate and iterate on these concepts to see what works best. Some of these ideas make it into the internal playtest, while others send the team back to the drawing board. I'm sure you and your friends have done something like this, but they're doing it on a large scale with actually trained professionals where they have an idea, they're like, what about this idea? And someone's like, yeah, this is good. Someone's like, yeah, this is good. And then someone like maybe with more insight tests it slightly, or they really think about it and they're like, these are the problems, or this won't work because, and they send it back. And it's like a cycle where they're trying and testing different things, and they'll probably test a whole bunch of different things for one character. Now, an example to one of the changes they did was the pain converter. One of the first changes the team thought to make was referred to as the pain converter. So it's an ability that created damage reduction that when cast on allies would enable MOIRA to convert the damage she mitigated to fill up her healing bar. Pain Converter would cancel some of the damage an ally received while simultaneously allowing her to heal allies with Biotic Grasp, massively increasing her target survivability. Now, in concept, this is interesting, right? It's like almost a Zarya bubble. It doesn't stop CC or all damage, but it can keep someone alive if they're under threat, and then you get like supercharged. So it's skill intensive as well, but they said it didn't work because of a few issues. Pain Converter felt like other existing abilities, like Baptiste's Immortality Field that prevented enemies from dying. The ability also felt too situational because you could get most of the value from using it on the tank and not on teammates getting dove or flanked. Lastly, MOIRA already had a complete kit, and we struggled to find room where we could add another ability. So all of that really makes sense, and they also said that they even tried to bind Pain Converter to the reload key, but then it felt really awkward because you're not actually reloading a weapon, and it just created like this one bug, and it felt clunky. There was just a lot of things involved, and they're just like, yeah, this is not for her. But then they went over to the next iteration, Purge and Nullify. So these are two abilities. Purge and Nullify were separate iterations that were both bound to the damage Biotic Orb. Purge was heavily influenced by World of Warcraft's Shaman class, and it would remove buffs from enemies. Since this type of ability fits with MOIRA's playstyle, we started thinking about what buffs could be removed. We considered Purge canceling Ana's Nano Boost or Soldier 76's Sprint, but it wasn't super intuitive about what else should be removed. For example, Dragon Blade gives a small speed boost to Genji while active, and it was not clear if something like that would be removed by Purge. It was difficult to tell which abilities would be removed by Purge, so the ability was archived and the concept behind it led to the creation of Nullify. Nullify came to life when we started to rein in the scope of Purge. Nullify negated damage reduction, damage boost, and movement speed while active. For example, it would suppress the effects of nano boost for a few seconds. The team's goal with Nullify was to come to a consensus about what abilities should be suppressed. One way the team attempted to add depth to Nullify was by enabling MOIRA to stop her orbs in place, creating areas of healing or nullification for teammates and enemies. Another iteration of Nullify dealt extra damage to Overhealth, so if Lucio used Speed Barrier in Nullify's range, his shields would be destroyed rapidly. This change felt tacked on and difficult to understand, so the Overhealth damage was eventually removed. However, it wasn't super obvious what Nullify did while playing a match. You would only notice it for the most part if you had damage boost, reduction, or speed on yourself when applied. Otherwise, you wouldn't really feel that the ability, especially compared to something extremely visceral like Sleep Dart. This thinking eventually led to the conception of the third new ability, Weaken. Now, Weaken is the current iteration the team is working on. So right now, this might be the one that goes live if they get the kinks out. This ability begins charging when reload is pressed once, causing MOIRA to build up energy in her hand. After Weaken is charged, MOIRA can fire a projectile that significantly lowers attack and healing output. She can choose when to fire this projectile or hold it at the cost of not being able to use her primary or secondary fire at the same time. We are considering something with a small projectile size, like on a Sleep Dart. When we have an ability that requires players to manage things like timing, ultimate tracking, or accuracy, we have more room to make something that is going to feel both impactful to use and fair to play against. Skill shots are broadly more counterable, which is another reason we can make them powerful in game. We like Sleep Dart even though we are removing a lot of crowd control from Overwatch 2 because it requires more to effectively use than non-skill shot abilities. The team played around with the idea of attaching a passive effect to her alternate fire, but found that we would have to lower the overall potency due to the damage beam's high uptime. Weaken won't have the same uptime, so we have more room to turn it into a playmaking, game-changing ability. It won't feel free to land, and more will have to manage timing, positioning, and cast direction to successfully use Weaken. We aren't sure if this iteration will make it into the game because we are still testing it within the team, but it's looking promising so far. So basically, it's something you charge that is really difficult to hit, but if you do hit it, the enemy will not be able to do a lot of damage or heal. So it basically completely potentially immobilizes them or makes them very ineffective. They can still run away, but they can't kill shit. I don't know, it seems pretty cool to me. I would have to see how much damage it does, how it would work, how much you were rewarded for hitting it. There's a lot of questions here, but it seems cool. And I really like how they go through these, and them breaking this down really showcases how they are balancing the game and what they're doing to try to incorporate new abilities. And I really do like their emphasis on skilled abilities. This is something that seems to be a lot different in the Overwatch 2 balance team versus Overwatch 1, where characters are reworked to be more mechanically skill intensive. And I think this is 100% the right direction. It always should be. Having abilities that scale with mechanical skill and just, you know, game sense positioning, and the better you are at the game, the better these abilities are, is just fantastic. I think it should always be that way. You should not get value for doing nothing. And that seems to be what they are moving towards in new Overwatch, which I really, really like. Now you gotta let me know which of these you like the best, and if you were designing an ability change for any hero in the entire game of Overwatch, I really wanna know what you would do and why down below.